You think you're losing everyone. But what if you're finally finding yourself? What if the emptiness beside you is not abandonment, but alignment? What if the silence where voices used to be is not punishment, but preparation? Because here is a truth most people never hear. No one truly finds themselves without first being alone. No soul awakens without first shedding the lives, relationships, and roles that once defined them. So if people are drifting away, if conversations feel forced, if connections that once felt natural now feel heavy or distant, this is not rejection. This is refinement. You are not being left behind. You are being set apart. And the loneliness you're feeling is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something new is being born within you. The human pain of losing connections. Let's speak honestly about what this feels like, because spiritual growth is often romanticized. But this part of the journey is not beautiful when you're living inside it. It hurts. You wake up and notice your phone is quieter than it used to be. Messages slow down. Invitations stop coming. Conversations feel shallow or strangely exhausting. You begin to feel like you don't belong anywhere you once called home. Friends you laughed with no longer understand you. Family members look at you differently. Relationships that once felt safe now feel misaligned. You try to explain yourself, but the words don't land. You try to show up, but something feels off. And so, you start asking painful questions. Did I do something wrong? Am I becoming difficult? Why does everyone seem to be leaving at the same time? Why do I feel so alone, even when I am not physically alone? There is a grief in this phase that no one prepares you for. It's the grief of losing people who are still alive. The grief of outgrowing rooms you once fit into. The grief of realizing that love alone is not always enough to keep people aligned. And the hardest part, you didn't choose this consciously. It just happened. Quietly, gradually, inevitably. Why this happens? The deeper truth. Here is the truth beneath the pain. When your consciousness expands, your energy changes. And not everyone can meet you there. In psychology, this phase often appears when a person begins to individuate, to separate from collective expectations and step into an authentic self. Carl Jung described this as individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are, rather than who you were conditioned to be. And individuation is lonely, because many relationships are built not on truth, but on familiarity, not on alignment, but on shared wounds, not on growth, but on sameness. When you begin to heal, when you begin to question old patterns, when you stop abandoning yourself to belong, the dynamic changes. Some people feel threatened, some feel uncomfortable, some feel left behind, and some simply no longer resonate with the frequency you're holding. Spiritually, this is known as energetic realignment. Your soul is recalibrating. Your nervous system is rewiring. Your values are shifting. Your inner world is reorganizing. And relationships that cannot evolve with you naturally fall away. Not because they were wrong, not because they were bad, but because they were seasonal, metaphors for the separation. Let's step into imagery your soul understands. 1. Leaves falling in autumn. Leaves don't fall because the tree rejects them. They fall because the season has changed. The tree does not mourn the leaves. It trusts the cycle. What looks like loss is actually conservation, saving energy for new growth. You are the tree. Your life is shifting seasons, and some connections were only meant for summer. Two boats drifting apart. Imagine two boats tied together at the start of a journey. They move in the same direction until the current changes. If one boat follows a new current, the rope stretches. Tension builds. Eventually, the knot loosens. Not because one boat is wrong, but because their paths diverge. You didn't cut the rope. The river did. 3. Stardust. Separating in space. In the cosmos, stars are formed when clouds of dust pull together through gravity. But as stars evolve, they release matter back into space. Creation requires both union and separation. You are not losing people. You are redistributing energy. 4. The mirror cracking. Some people were mirrors reflecting who you used to be. As you change, the reflection no longer matches, and so the mirror cracks, not because you broke it, but because it could no longer hold your evolving image. The reframe. Loneliness as alignment. Now here is the shift that changes everything. Loneliness is not always absence. Sometimes it is space. Space for truth. Space for clarity. Space for self-connection. Space for the life you're meant to step into. You are not being isolated. You are being recentered. Because before you can align with others who truly see you, you must learn to see yourself without distortion. Before you can attract soul-aligned relationships, you must stop clinging to misaligned ones. And the universe is precise. It will remove what you are too afraid to release, not to punish you, but to protect your evolution. Every relationship that leaves creates room for one that matches who you are becoming. This phase is not about loss. It's about clearing. Clearing emotional clutter. Clearing outdated roles. Clearing relationships built on who you were instead of who you are. Why it feels so lonely. Let's speak about loneliness, because this is the part that causes so many people to feel sorrow and quietly collapse. Loneliness feels heavy because it forces you inward, turning your attention back to the life within you. There are no distractions, no external validation, no one beside you to perform your emotions for. You come face to face with yourself, from the simplest thoughts to the most complex ones, your fears, your desires, your wounds that have not yet healed. This is one of the main reasons so many people try to escape this phase. They fill the emptiness with noise, with relationships, with constant busyness, with anything that keeps them from facing the cold, quiet stillness inside. But silence is not empty. Silence is where the soul begins to speak. Loneliness is the beginning of self-awareness. It asks you to look inward, to reflect, to remember who you are when no one is there beside you. This is not isolation. It is an initiation. What you're actually learning right now, even if it doesn't feel like it, this phase is teaching you something essential. 1. How to be with yourself. Not as a role, not as a helper, not as a pleaser, but as a presence. You are learning to sit with yourself without escaping. 2. How to stop outsourcing your worth. When people leave, you can no longer define yourself through their approval. You begin to build self-worth from within. 3. How to set energetic boundaries. You start to feel what drains you and what nourishes you. Your intuition sharpens. 4. How to choose alignment over attachment. You learn the difference between love and dependency, between connection and fear of being alone. 5. How to trust the process. Because this phase requires surrender. There is no forcing your way out of it. There is only moving through it, the transformation arc. And then, slowly, something shifts. You stop trying to fill the emptiness. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing connection. You begin to feel calmer, more grounded, more authentic. You notice that your energy changes. Your presence deepens. Your words carry more weight. You become comfortable in your own company. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop fearing loneliness, you stop being lonely. Because now you are whole. And from that wholeness, new connections begin to appear. Not many, but meaningful. Not loud, but aligned. People who don't require you to shrink. People who don't misunderstand your silence. People who meet you where you truly are. You realize you didn't lose everyone. You lost the versions of people who could only meet the old version of you. The cosmic perspective. Nothing in the universe grows by staying the same. Stars collapse before they ignite. Snakes shed their skin to continue living. Rivers carve away land to find the ocean. And humans, we lose people to find truth. This phase you're in is sacred. It is not a mistake. It is not a detour. It is not a failure. It is the narrow bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. And yes, it feels lonely, because transformation is an inside job. But you are not alone in this. Every awakened soul has walked this path, quietly, painfully, bravely. You are not losing. You are aligning. If you're losing everyone, please hear this. You are not being abandoned. You are being aligned. Aligned with your truth. Aligned with your values. Aligned with your future self. This is the season where false connections fall away so real ones can find you. This is the season where you stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. This is the season where you remember who you are without the noise. Loneliness is not your enemy. It is your teacher. And when this phase passes, you will not recognize the person you used to be. You will be calmer, clearer, more rooted. You will belong to yourself. And that is where everything begins. If this message resonated with you, take a breath. You were meant to hear this today. And if you feel called, like this video and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but for your own alignment, your own growth, your own becoming. You are not alone. You are awakening.